So last stream I was playing Wii U games until Nintendo cut the internet. Then I spent an hour setting up Pretender to play more.
Game go vroom even after boom.
After that, I said,
I've been streaming for almost 5 hours now. Oh well.
And then I started playing all the sample courses in Super Mario Maker. And now I'm ranking them all after the fact on this tier list.
Let's play the game. Uh-oh.
While I'm fumbling through this tutorial, let's go over how I'll be ranking these levels. First off, letter grades are out. I graduated high school for a reason, and that reason is so that I don't have to deal with letter grades anymore. So... and we're gonna switch these two. What we're gonna be doing is... inspired good levels and inspired bad levels. And we're going to be going through these and talking about when Nintendo gave people good ideas and when Nintendo gave people bad ideas.
It's in pipe number 2, I bet.
Now this first level is called 4 Keys. There's 4 pipes and each has a rather scuffed trial that leads to a key. Nintendo made this to teach players about branching paths and... wait! This isn't a Nintendo level. This is just some guy's level. We're supposed to be playing 10 Mario Challenge. No, that's 100 Mario Challenge. That doesn't work anymore. Nope, that's the event courses. Nintendo killed those two. Why did we spend 5 minutes before realizing that Miiverse didn't work? Ah, here we are. Level 1, Pipeline to the Other Side. This level teaches the player the difference between doors and pipes. Teaches you that doors take you to a different part of the same area, and that pipes take you to a different area altogether that can have a different theme. It also has red and green Koopa theming, with red Koopas at the bottom to show that they'll turn around for the green Koopas on top of them or something like that. Overall, I think that this teaches us some good lessons, so I am gonna put it in inspired good levels. Now the second level is called Block Town. It's a cute little town made out of Mario blocks. My only issue is the fact that you have to pick a door to reach the finish, and I think that this was an inspiration for the pick-a-pipe levels that became rampant in this game and the sequel of this game. So, as such, I am gonna put it in inspired bad levels. This level is literally just 1-1. I'm gonna give it to them though, because it inspired people to recreate other levels from throughout the series. Did you know you could put spinning boos on rails? Well, now you do. I actually like this concept of this level because it teaches you that you can put things on rails that you wouldn't think would be able to go on rails.
I'm a huge sucker for a Rube Goldberg machine, so I'm happy that Nintendo made a level specifically for a Rube Goldberg machine to happen above you. And for anybody that says that they prefer to have the game be like a game, you know, a platformer, there's platforming below. But to me, the main entertainment was seeing that P-switch go from the beginning to the end. That previous level was probably underwhelming if you wanted to know how the P-switch works. Thankfully, here's Switch It Up, which I'm going to immediately throw up here, because it teaches you everything you need to know about the P-switch. So let's just do a quick walkthrough of it.
First off, it shows that you can make bridges out of coins as timed little things for you to pass over. And once that time runs out, you can make paths that appear after the P-switch ends. And you can even make paths through the blocks when they turn into coins. Or you can make blockades as like little timers to let a room set itself up, like this. Or you can make timed challenges by hopping on a P-switch like that. And you have to make it through very quickly, otherwise you'll run out of time and die. And that's most of the uses of the P-switch. Here we have another first level in a Mario game. This time it's Mario 3 featuring Raccoon Mario. This one I actually have an issue with, and we'll see the issue coming up pretty soon. Issue isn't here yet, but here is the most iconic power-up. There it is. After this Goomba Tower, we're gonna see the issue. Whoop. Do you see the issue right here? The fact that we just flew over the entire level? I mean, it was controlled in this environment, but
many people don't know how to build around this. And it's very handicapping to have to build around Raccoon Mario, because you have to either make levels very cramped by having a ceiling above your head always, or by having small walkways, not enough for you to gain P-speed. Both of which make levels very claustrophobic. Or you can just avoid Leaf altogether, which I feel like is not a good answer either. Because of this, we are making a new tier. Showcases a flaw in the engine, and that is going to be where this fella goes.
Now here we have another one of their so-called remixes. It's just 1-4. Oh, those are fire bars. I don't remember those being there. Anyways, let's ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of fire bars in this level. Oh. Makes it a tiny bit more challenging. Oh, even a fire bar on rail to show that you can have fire. Oh, you're Bowser now. And let's beat Bowser as Bowser. That's pretty cool. And because we finished the story mode with a character costume, we get to save Toad as Bowser. This is actually like one of my favorite things about the endings, that there's various endings if you win as a costume. Oh, we already took her to another castle. Whoops.
Now this might serve as a bit of a spoiler, but that is the most remix that one of these so-called remix levels will get. And I feel like that even though it's 1-4, it kind of shows as a tutorial of how you can reinvigorate a level by adding a new gimmick, like adding way too many fire bars into a singular level. And also by adding more character by giving you a costume halfway through. As such, I am going to be putting it in Inspired Good levels.
Before we talk about the next level, I would like to talk about the new Super Mario Bros. Formula. Typically in New Super Mario Bros., if they want to add a new gimmick or enemy, they'll name a level after it, and then you'll have a harmless encounter with this enemy. Then you have a mostly harmless encounter where you're expected to defeat the enemy. And then they'll give you a skill check with the enemy, but for a coin or something, not a required one. Then they'll work their way up to making the enemy more dangerous, leading up to a final trial against it. After which you get a completely harmless encounter where you use it to get to the top of the flagpole. I bring this up because this level teaches you how to use the formula. They start out by naming the level after the enemy they created, the Bloomin' Goomba, which is a Goomba with a Piranha plant on its head. Now let's factor in the new Super Mario Bros. Formula here. Notice how it's very difficult to jump on these Goombas. You have to try to die to these Goombas. Just like how you can die to the first bramble if you try hard enough. After this, it has a mini challenge with this concept, and then after that it shows off some variants of this Bloomin' Goomba concept, including stacks and bigger ones, and then it ends. Not quite 1-2-1 with the new soup formula, but I think it does good enough to go in the good category. This next level turns Mario 1 into an irritating stick game, which is very creative. It shows you how you can make more than just Mario levels in this Mario Maker. But anybody that also made irritating stick games online made them like absolutely horrible. I wanted to play more of these, and now I don't. But I think that's good game design anyways. "1-2 Remix" is just literally 1-2 from the original Super Mario Bros., but you play it as a Goomba. The only unique thing about it, besides the limitations caused by Super Mario Maker, is the fact that you get to play as Princess Peach if you go through the Warp Zone. Unfortunately, if you choose any Warp Zone other than Warp Zone 4, you'll just get a giant Goomba. I was hoping for it to give us different costumes based on the Warp Zones, but no. With that in mind, I am going to create a new category called "This Level Already Exists." Big Dry Bone Pirate Ship features you boarding a ship being sailed by a bunch of skeletons and a giant pirate bell. It teaches the creator how to thematically use the airship format, and also teaches them that a centralized theme is way better than a goulash of everything. It's only a pirate ship and it's only skeletons. There's no Goombas, Koopas, or anything that would take away from the theme. Despite it being a little scuffed with all the doors and such, I gotta say that it inspired a lot of levels with these two lessons alone. The next level is just a bunch of pixel art that you swim through. Like here we go, we got small Mario made out of sea stuff. Next up we got a mushroom, which has a mushroom in it. Cute. Oh yeah, and swimming Goombas, which were a thing made for this game. There's a star, there's a coin, there's a fire flower, and then there's a goal. Yeah, inspired pixel art levels. I say that that's something that made the game better. Coinucopia shows you all the ways you can give people coins. Also probably inspired the concept of refresher levels. Probably a hot take, but I think this inspired good levels. I like refresher levels. In moderation, of course. 1-3 Remix is literally just 1-3 from the first Super Mario Bros., but you get to play as Luigi, or Yoshi, or Toad, or whoever that was. So, I think you know the category that this will go into. Festival of Fire teaches you that you can give Lakitu something other than a Spiny. In this case, fireballs. It also teaches you that you can give them a combination of items. For example, the wings on the fireballs that make them bounce off of stuff. I do like it when these levels teach players something new, but I'm not the biggest fan of them teaching you to spam a bunch of Lakitus throwing the same thing to create pure chaos on the screen. They literally created Fire Festival. What a fitting name. And as such, I'm gonna be putting this in inspired bad levels because of how many levels have Lakitu throwing a bunch of shit at you. Ka-POW teaches you that POWs kill enemies and knock down items such as coins. This is something that literally every Mario fan already knew. Doesn't help that this course is like 2 seconds long. As such, I'm creating a new category called We Already Knew This. I really like Attack Stack because it shows you just how many things you can stack on top of each other. It also encourages players to make custom boss fights, just like the one that is here. I do like this remix because it shows you the uses of the Goomba shoe in the level where the Goomba shoe originated from in Mario 3. It also shows you the variants of the shoe, like for example here, there's the shoe with wings, and it gives you or your enemy the flutter jump that Yoshi usually has. I didn't notice that on my first time around, so I skipped it. There's also the giant shoe, but I liked my shoe, so I skipped that as well. The rest of the level shows off just the overall uses of shoes, and I skip almost all of them. I then lost my shoe halfway through the level, and then after that I got the one-up at the end of the level in my own stupid way. Overall, I'd say that this level inspired good levels because it was a great tutorial for a very cool power-up. I'm convinced that this level inspired the course objectives in Mario Maker 2. And justifiably so, it's a very cool system. And no, I didn't get the 3-up. I hate springs, especially when they're used for precise platforming. I might be a bit biased here. This was a fun little Bowser monstrosity that inspired a bunch more Bowser monstrosities, and I kinda like them. Of course they had to have the level that introduced infinite 1-ups to the series. It seems pretty one-to-one, as you can see, with me grabbing the hidden 1-up, the star, and running over half the level, including the namesake, via the makeshift coin heaven. That means it's gotta go in this tier. This level inspired precision levels, which are my least favorite types of levels in all of Mario Maker. And as such, I have to put it here. I hate them. I
this one's not as bad, but I do not like the ones where you have to thread the Mario through a 1 block wide hallway of spikes. And yes, I did cut out several deaths. I'm putting this in good because I believe in inspired speedrun levels, all about timing jumps, at least some of them. Also, there was something very cathartic about killing every enemy in the game with a star. I really liked this game of chicken. I just wish it was with a more predictable enemy than the chain jump, which is like one that I just do not get the pattern of. I know when it's gonna lunge, I do not know where it's gonna lunge. As such, I am gonna put this in a new tier. Good idea, bad execution. I don't know what to say with this one. It's just another level that's, literally another level that exists already. My difficulties with this level was probably skill issues, but I just do not like how this inspired bullet hell levels. Just look at this shit. I found the art level cool, but we already had an art level earlier. It's probably not this level's fault, but I do blame it for all of the bumper clown card levels. You know the ones. Yeah. Yes, you can recreate old levels in Mario Maker. I get it. I like how this level inspired on-rail bosses, like the custom bosses where the bosses on rails doing something. I think it inspired some of my favorite types of levels. Now this is my ideal level, just because it's short and sweet, but it also shows you how the conveyor belt can be used, and it's been used quite well over the years. Oh hey, this is just like that chain jump level, but done correctly. Yep, here's another remake of a level. At least you get a good palette for an airship level, but it still has to go here. Oh yeah, this is before they added keys to the game, so like almost all bosses were optional back then. Blaster Barrage is a cool level that shows you that bullet blasters can shoot stuff other than bullet bills, and that you can use it to set up levels, and honestly people have been doing it since, and I think that's a really cool tutorial on it. Alright, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I do like automatic levels just because they remind me of Rube Goldberg machines, which are like some of my favorite things ever. Ah yes, a level that teaches you how to make tedious setups. I get that to show the player that they can move springs around by carrying it, but oh, this was an annoying level. Oh hey, another level that already exists. Oh well. Wow, 2 remakes of levels in a row, but this might have been one of the worst levels in the first Mario game that they could have chose, just because the gimmick just straight up doesn't work in Super Mario Maker. So they kind of just had to cobble stuff together, and honestly, it looks pretty bad in my opinion. So I'm gonna put in showcases flaws in the engine. Even though, like, it wouldn't be an issue I had if, you know, they didn't try to make this level. The only part of the level I liked was this ending part with many mystery mushrooms, so you could get many different types of endings. But even then, that could have just been in any level. It could have been in a good level. Anyways, on to the next one. Wait, I didn't even finish this in a costume? Wow. This level took me like 5 minutes just because I needed to find the one block with a propeller cap in it, and it's just annoying. See, you just need to find that block, and then after that you fly to the end. You can barely call this a level. This is another level that just shows you that you can stack stuff on top of each other and you can shoot whatever you want out of the cannons. It's neat, I guess. Yep, here's another level that already exists. I know that this was in the original level in the original game, but I do not like how this may have inspired hidden block pits. I might be a bit dumb though, because I didn't notice the pipe going through the floor, and I wandered around a bit. There we go, finally. This level teaches you that you can put fire bars on rails. That's pretty much it, because that's pretty much all that fire bars did back then. Mario Maker 2 is the one that added all the customization to fire bars, so for the time, I gotta say it inspired good levels. Oh hey, another art level. But this one's gonna go in the good category because at the very least, it showed creators that if you put a chain chomp on rails, they act like pendulum balls, which is like something I feel like people wouldn't have figured out otherwise. Maybe after a little bit of playing around, but I'm glad that taught them in the mode that's supposed to teach people. I love the Bone Coaster levels in New Super Mario Bros., so I'm glad that this influenced similar concepts in Mario Maker. Although 2 kind of has better track layouts and such, but it's still pretty cool how people were able to create stuff in this game. It takes the level in Mario 1 most infamous for its enemies and uses it to teach the uses of shellmets. There's something super satisfying about this level being turned into a joke. It also shows that, like, even if you're gonna make new levels, you can just use the new stuff in Mario Maker to make new concepts out of old levels. Good showcase of how to make a fast auto-scroller level. It shows that these levels should be made with reactions in mind rather than normal platforming. I think that built a good groundwork for ones that real players made later on. This is a good level for both creators and players. It shows that you as a creator can add a little spice to your levels by changing any pattern, such as adding springs to walls where Koopas would normally turn around so that they do a fast turnaround. It also shows players that they can throw shells upward. I don't know if they showed that yet, but I mean the coins trailing upwards is good. And as such, it goes here. I was originally gonna put this level in the good levels category because it taught you like the use of the stilettos, but now that I'm looking at it again, it kind of just has stilettos and doesn't really show you any of the uses of it. So it's going in good idea, bad execution. Wait a second, while I was editing, I noticed the secret right here. Let's open up the game and see what the secret is. Maybe it might be something that redeems the level. This stupid video has been in editing hell for the past 2 years, and I think that this is the saddest thing I've seen to come out of this video. Wow! Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled programming. I'd complain about them using another official level, but I love that it shows that even the real thing made silly stick like airships, and that you don't need to make a realistic boat for you to have an airship level. And honestly, that might be the best lesson in this entire series of levels. So it's gonna go here. Something else I find funny was that final boss against Bowser Jr. wasn't even needed, because we could have either jumped off of that final airship, or we could have just jumped into the pipe in the battle arena. It was completely unnecessary, and that's kind of funny. This teaches you that bouncing off regular dry bones causes them to collapse, but jumping off of giant ones don't. And it shows you how to make a platforming challenge specifically out of dry bones. So I'm gonna put it in good, I guess. This level shows you how to spam as many objects in the level as possible. It's also just wonderful that they all can overlap over each other, obscuring the player's view. Bonus points for almost all the things being white and skeleton themed. Oh, wonderful. Please do not do this. Ever, if you're designing a level. Like, not even in Mario Maker in games whatsoever. Alright, with that in mind, this is gonna go in Inspired Bad levels. I hate trampolines in Mario. They've always felt unnatural to me. It's a good lesson towards their use, but my bias is gonna win in the end this time around. For a level named Chain Chomps, I really didn't see them. Off with you to the rest of the rehashes. Thankfully, that's all the remaining rehashes. We just got one level to go. Our final level in the 10 Mario Challenge is one where you're under a time limit via the buzzsaws that are chasing you. I like how it shows you how to make like a chase scene, like with a narrow hallway and an obstacle chasing you. And it's a good idea. I think that inspired good levels. And well, that's it. That's all the levels in the 10 Mario Challenge. But that's not all the levels baked into the game, because we still got the 4 Nintendo World Champion 2015 levels. Let's hop right into that. Stop. Before we enter this level, I gotta rank it, and I got a very special spot for it that I'm gonna make. Alright. And perfect. Now we can actually start talking about the level. So this level starts out as a 1-1 lookalike, but with enemies in the question blocks. How helpful. Then I die to a Goomba stuck between the wrong 2 pipes. I still feel stupid either way. Okay, there was a vine in the first block. Let's see where it goes. Absolutely nowhere. Alright. Alright, let's continue through the... Oh, no. Let's head through this pipe, I guess. Wait, it dropped us back at the beginning? Look, I know now that this is a sub-area, but back in 2015 on launch day, this had really messed me and many other people up because we didn't know how warp pipes worked. I played through all the levels before actually creating something. This psycho knew that people would be confused by this. And then I died to whatever this thing is. Let's talk about it real quick. It's pretty evil. It's 2 Hammer Bros attached to a bomb with a blooper on top. So first off, you have to deal with a stupid Hammer Bros first and foremost. But if you're not aggressive enough, the bomb will go off, and then after that you'll have to deal with the blooper. So it's a lose-lose situation. Like, it's not as bad as some things that Psychos Online made, but the fact that this is in an official level is kind of crazy to me. I then proceed to look around because I thought the pipe sent me back to the beginning of the level. I spent longer than I want to admit hung on this. This is about when I realized I was being tricked by the warp pipe. Up next is the jump scare Piranha plants, an all-time classic for bad levels. Doesn't matter though, I forgot how to jump and died that way. I don't know why that question block would have had something helpful, none of the rest of them did. Now's a good time to mention that I was 7 hours into a stream that I started around 9 o'clock. So I was a bit exhausted, so that's my excuse for these. Next up is these conveyor jumps, which aren't even bad, I just suck. I can't really complain about the jump scare Piranha plants when they weren't a surprise anymore and I still died to them. This part isn't even bad, I just suck at timing. I couldn't have expected that, but now I do, I guess. Too early again. Okay, I'll forgive the Koopas, but guaranteeing that you'll overshoot the pipe and having an arrow after pointing you back to the start is insane. Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever dumper in all of Super Mario Maker. This level is a bit psychopathy, but not as bad as the previous guy's level. It starts with a clown car trip that I thought would be a bit more precise than it actually was. These red bullet bills in the small corridors angle in a perfect way for it to blockade you if you are too slow. It's kinda genius. And the question blocks are as helpful as ever. Why'd I hit the second one? Ignore this section, it's not very hard, I'm just stupid. I just want to say that this stiletto section is a better stiletto tutorial than the actual stiletto tutorial. And then the level ends as a put Mario in as many things as possible and have him fight a bunch of enemies level. I don't know how to react to this level. It looked like a reference to the final level of Super Mario World, but one door was the wrong answer and the next one led to Spring Hell. Door 1 was also wrong, but it was a cool timed escape room. And door 2 just drops you back at the start, so Spring Hell is the only option. After that Spring Hell, there's 4 more doors. Hopefully it's not pick a door again. Well, 8's not correct. Nor is 7. Nor is 5. Alright, and once we enter door 6, well, it's just a normal level for the rest of the way. Yeah, I'm putting this in a bad level because it's another pick a door level. Fantastic. This level is a platforming challenge where you don't die, you just have to go back to the retried door every time that you fail a specific part of it. On my first go around I fumbled through the whole thing and was pretty annoyed by the end, and then I ran out of time. Oh, hey look, there's Bowser. Hi, Bowser. Uh-oh, look at the time. Goodbye, Bowser. This sucked at the time. But on my second go around, I beat everything in one go, and it was beyond satisfying. It made me better at the game. I think that between that and the concept alone, this inspired some really good levels. And well, that wraps up my tier list. Oh, the templates. Well, to be honest, they're good starters for you to make levels. Like the ground one is a good like grassy plains level for you to start off with. The underwater one kind of like gives you like a good idea of how to make an underwater level. The castle one is kind of empty, but it shows you how to make a castle level. Airship shows you how to make airships. I prefer the Mario 3 one that we saw earlier, but I'm going to put it with the rest. The ghost house is kind of like a bare bones ghost house, but you know, it's a template. You're supposed to put stuff in it. Sound effects. It's a bit overbearing, but it gets the point across, I guess. Tracks, it kind of shows you how to make the tracks and such, the uses of them. And sub areas, it shows you the various ways that you can use transitions. And well, for real this time, this is my final tier list. It's funny, this video took over 2 years for me to make, and it was just a scripted video that I wanted to make, a small scripted video theoretically, that I wanted to make after I unlocked Lankio. The sole purpose of that stream was to get the stupid Lankio fella right here. All things considered, I'm pretty proud of this first video, and I'm hoping that I can do something better. Something that I don't fall out of passion with throughout. Thank you to everybody that joined me throughout this. And remember that you're the best person in the world at something.